Today. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, of course, earlier this week, crushed it, as youth might say, in New Hampshire for the caucus primary, and Nikki Haley came in second place. Now, interesting enough, that's old news. It's been around for a while. I want to talk a little bit about the statistics around this. Now, this came to us thanks to, specifically, Clandestine, and appropriately enough, their profile picture is, in fact, of a mysterious, like an old-timey detective from the 1940s, and they noted that they have a couple quotes here, but I want to focus on the actual pictures that they posted. Let me see here. Now, the pictures, compared to 2016, which, geez Louise, how time has flown. Now, back in 2016, Donald Trump got 100,406 votes, which captured 35.3% of the votes cast. Now, they also noted that John Kasich came in at 44,909 votes, 15.8%. Ted Cruz came in at 33,189 votes, making up 11.7%. Jeb Bush came in at 31,310 votes, getting 11%. Marco Rubio came in at 30,032, which made up 10.6%. Chris Christie came in at 21,069 votes, making up 7.4%. And all others came in at 23,205 votes, making up the rest of the 8.2%. Now, it is fascinating to see, oh yeah, Chris Christie's still at the bottom after all these years. I don't remember what happened to Jeb Bush. I remember he liked turtles. And he carried a turtle in his pocket. That, again, the Bush family is famous beyond all belief in terms of the historical success of them in politics. But what do you remember about Jeb Bush, besides the weird fact that he carried a toy turtle in his pocket? I remember there was some special meaning behind it. There's a story behind it. But I just remember he was soft-spoken and he carried a turtle. That's the memorable things about Jeb Bush. Let me know what you think of when you think of Jeb Bush in the comments. And again, that is still astronomically impressive considering Trump probably had no political success, and yet he more than doubled the person in second place. Now, granted, that's 2016. Now, fast forwarding a couple years, Trump came in at 172,479 votes. And it could also come in at, again, this is reporting at, that was statistically from 95% of the votes being in. That came in at 54.4%, getting 12 delegates. Nikki Haley came in at 137,403 votes, getting 43.3%. Ron DeSantis, who I'm not sure if New Hampshire just didn't get the update or they didn't read, or newspapers are pretty much gone. They can go on to X Twitter, more accurately, probably, but they still voted for DeSantis, even though DeSantis had dropped off earlier. But nevertheless, DeSantis got 2,303 votes, making up a percentage of 0.7%, which is astronomical how much he increased. And it's not just that there's consolidation of the votes. Again, there were more options in New Hampshire in 2016, but the overall number of votes increased as well. So again, the first time, 2016, a total of 284,120 votes were casted. And fast forwarding to 2024, 317,276 votes were cast. Which again, I think one of the biggest upsides to the Trump campaign, one of his biggest assets is the brand loyalty and the political loyalty he's built around him over the years. I can't help but think, and again, it's fascinating. Look at Biden forums on Facebook, look at Trump forums on Facebook. I always tell people, gather as many perspectives as possible, and it often you'll be fascinated and somewhat amused at how you have the same situation perceived so differently by different groups, etc. And the amount of loyalty, you hear, again, I've met people who, they like Biden, they like the administration, and they will vote for him. But the enthusiasm around Trump, I've heard people, and they told me they would walk through broken glass to vote for Trump. That's unparalleled loyalty. I haven't seen that much brand recognition, ever. And in terms of even if you want to treat this as a product or a politician versus a business, it's astronomical loyalty. And I think that's going to be his biggest asset as he continues to ramp up for the 2020, for the upcoming election. He has that type of loyalty. Now, the big issue is, how does he gain voters from the middle of the political aisle and increase the voters that he had lost going from 2016 to 2020? The number of people who voted, I specifically believe it was the at-home the what do you call it? There are two groups that in particular he lost in terms of there was a lower percentage of people from those groups that voted for him in 2020 compared to 2016. In particular, it was the moms at home and the single ladies. There's a lot of speculation. Maybe he'll pick a female VP because some people might pick someone. Hey, the candidate's the same gender as me. Personally, I don't. I think that is true, but I don't think that percentage of people who is true is large enough to make a big impact on the overall election. I think most people will pick the best candidate regardless of their age, gender, how they look like them or don't look like them. I really think it's the emotion. It's really the policies that they place, the historics of their track record, and do they really believe in this person? So let me know in the comments. I was pretty astonished that the actual overall number of votes had increased. And again, that was a huge increase in terms of percentage as well. I mean, 35.3% up to 54.4%. He's astronomically successful, especially when you consider Nikki Haley she's increasing her resources exponentially. A lot of people who had been donating to the Ron DeSantis campaign have been shifting over to Nikki Haley, and she has the endorsements of some of the most powerful business leaders on the planet, including Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase. And he specifically was saying, as many businesses do, kind of to hedge your bets in terms of she has a lot of policies that are more democratic. And he was saying, if you like Biden, I mean, this is another good option. So, what was it, a little gambling technique? If you place money on both sides of the equation, you will always win, so to say. So I think there are a lot of people also in this primary is coming out there, a lot of Democratic voters who actually changed parties and voted for her in the primary. So it'll be interesting to see how it kind of winds up at the end of the day. But it's fascinating to see Trump just ever exponentially increasing in popularity as we go through these primaries. And even with the increased resources at the Nikki Haley campaign, with the additional funds that they're getting endorsements as well. Again, this is a gambling or financial advice, but if I were to place a bet on it, I still think Trump's going to come out ahead. But as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, again, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of January, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional comments and additional feedback on how I can make the show better and better. Also, and lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.